Welcome to our very first live ever on Couple of Beaches. I'm Saja.
And I'm Chantel.
And we've been digital nomads for the past almost 3 years now. And being digital nomads means we've been traveling full time, completely full time. So we don't reside anymore in a specific location. We're always on the go. And also we work on the go. So we have our own company where we do digital marketing. And that's how we pay the bill and we pay for all our travels and whatnot. And so
yeah, we get lots of questions about our crazy lifestyle, and we thought what better way to answer everyone's questions than do a live stream. So we're really, really excited to do this live stream in collaboration with Clapper. And yeah, we're really excited. This is our, like Saja said, this is our first one. And we hope you get lots of value from it.
yeah. So I guess when we were asked to create this series, we hopped on the chance because it's always something we've wanted to do, something like this, whether it was a live series, a podcast, or just a series of videos to share with everyone what it's like to be a nomad, how it all started,
how you can get started.
Yeah, what's their day-to-day like, and what to expect if you embark on this kind of journey. That's why we decided to make this our Digital Nomad Diary, the series, in order to bring all of these topics to you every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. live on Clapper. And so the topic of today will actually be kind of an encompassing...
Yeah, we want to like touch on little points that I guess most people have for us. And then throughout the series, we will be going more into detail in specific topics. We will also be having different topics. So it could be like horror stories. There's many of them.
Yeah.
What to expect. How can you become a digital nomad? So there's a variety of different ones. So we are really looking forward, and we really hope that you enjoy this live series. So let's get started. So how did it all begin? Well, it all began when I met Saja 3 years ago. We met at a barbecue, and in great lesbian fashion, we fell in love in 5 days. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how it went. We really, really felt a really big connection. And within 5 days, we were like hanging out all the time. And then the issue was Sajo had already pre-planned a cross Canada. So originally we're from Canada. So I'm from Toronto and Sajo's from Montreal. So Saja had planned a cross Canada trip.
I was just passing by.
She was just passing by through Toronto, and it just so happened we met at a friend's barbecue. And after the 5 days, we felt so connected that I decided to join Saja on this cross Canada trip, or at least meet her halfway in. And through that was our first trip. So we went to Vancouver. We're from Toronto, so we went to Vancouver. We stayed there for about a month, I think, through Banff, through Calgary. We went to the Rockies, which is still one of our favorite trips.
Yeah, and that was actually our first trip.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, we were traveling.
yeah, it was really exciting. And then when we got back, after our trip, we got back and we were like, okay, where do we go from here? So I decided, I had a full-time job at the time. Well, I had 2 full-time jobs. I was working for a real estate agent as his like assistant, I guess. And also I was managing about 110 Airbnbs, and that I was doing remotely. And the personal assistant I was obviously doing in person. So I told Saja, hey, why don't you just move in with me? And we can just go from there. Saja wanted to start her own business and start really focusing on, she did a course for Google Ads, right?
For Facebook ads, yeah. So
Facebook ads, yeah. You can tell them the rest.
Yeah, so I was a flight attendant before I met Chantal for a year. And while I was traveling, I was studying marketing with an online course on how to do meta ads and social media marketing and all of these things, because I really, really enjoyed posting on social media all of my travels already as a flight attendant. So I thought, well, how can I make money out of this too? Maybe I can start a side hustle and whatnot. And I guess I got lucky because it was right before COVID happened. So when it did happen and everyone got laid off, I had just picked up a brand new skill that was eventually going to be so useful because everything went on lockdown. And hey, we have some new people joining. Everything went on lockdown. I was jobless and everyone was kind of transitioning into the online world. All the companies, all the jobs, everything was just starting to go full online. So the industry I was trying to tap into was actually about to boom. And yeah, so Chantel supported my dreams and
I did.
she offered me the good old lesbian U-Haul and I moved in with her. And then from then on, I started trying to do some freelance jobs here and there as a social media manager. And it did end up picking up in the end a little bit, to the point where I was thinking, you know, I was seeing all these other people that worked in digital marketing and I was thinking, oh my God, look at this girl. She's doing coaching and she's living by the beach. This other person is in Amsterdam. Like, they're traveling the world. Like, how can I do this too? And my biggest hurdle at that point wasn't even necessarily about money, but it was really the mindset. I was like, okay, how can I convince Chantel that this is a good idea?
I was convinced that I was gonna live until the day I die in Toronto. And I mean, I do love my city, don't get me wrong, but traveling has definitely opened my eyes to so many different things. So yeah, I'm extremely grateful for that. But yeah, so with that, she finally convinced me, and we literally packed up. We packed up everything. We put some stuff in storage. We sold some stuff. And we decided to leave. We committed. It was a minor well, it was a huge commitment, but a minor commitment on my end. I was like, okay, I'll commit to 1 year. So I committed to the year. We packed up and we left. And
it was scary.
Yeah,
it was
really
a scary leap because she was actually making good money at the time with her 2 jobs. And the business wasn't really making a lot of money. So it was a matter of she needs to drop the job that's making the most money, keep the one that was able to be remote. So she would be managing Airbnbs remotely, and then betting on the company
and joining the company
with me and betting on growing the company together as we travel.
I mean, it was really scary, but I mean, though, like, I think this is important to mention, like, I think it's always important to always bet on yourself. And as scary as things are, you need to bet on yourself because you really only have one life. So for me, I was contemplating, I was like, okay, I have 2 good jobs, like, you know, like, but I was thinking, like, at the same time, like, what's the worst that can really happen? I go into a little bit of debt. I come back to Toronto, but I have all these experiences. Maybe the business doesn't work, so I'll just find a same job that I'm doing right now. But at least I'll have experienced it, and at least I'll have marked off so many wonderful things off my bucket list.
Tried.
Yeah, and also got to spend some quality time with Saja.
Moving along from that little backstory and introduction, so we took the leap, we started traveling, we were looking up to all these people that were doing the same thing and that we wanted to do. But ultimately, what it came down to is that we realized, okay, it's not all butterflies and rainbows
and sunshine.
It's not just like, you know, a travel dream lifestyle where we're by the pool sipping margaritas and we're working, you know, by the beach and running on the beach every morning and taking dips in the water. It's that's what we had in mind. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. And then quickly, when we first started traveling, this leads on to our next topic. We realized that the lifestyle that everyone idealizes on Instagram when they show the digital nomad lifestyle isn't really so much about, like, experiencing that on the daily. The freedom that you get also requires so much discipline. And so what ended up happening, what we have for this segment, is like a little bit of like expectations versus reality when it comes to the lifestyle. Some of the things that we learned right off the bat is that it was actually so hard to travel and work and be disciplined because you're so tempted to go to the pool, you're so tempted to go to the beach, to go on excursions. I remember one of the first trips we did was Mexico. We stayed there for a month and we barely worked. and it was like a mental battle every day.
Very scary.
Yeah, it was scary because we were thinking we don't have a steady job. We rely on the income from the company, and we're betting it all on this, and we're not able to be disciplined to work and do the work. We were enjoying 90 days and then hustling for 7 days to try and get new business.
It just wasn't working.
It wasn't working out. So we realized that so quickly, and it's one of the things that we're going to talk about further in the series, about the motivation, the daily habits that we can build as digital nomads on the go to help make the lifestyle a lot more approachable and a lot more balanced. And it's one of the things that we've gotten a little bit better at nowadays. It is a lot of 90 days working and hustling to then be able to enjoy it, but at least we do get to enjoy it.
And it's about enjoying like the location you're in, but also even if you're working, you can still enjoy like just basic things in a different country. You know what I mean? Like you go to work, you come home, like well, I mean, technically we don't leave the house, but
we don't. But the daily walks are different. But
yeah, you go out, you eat at a specific restaurant, you know, and it's always different everywhere in the world, which can be there's pros and cons there. But I mean, overall, it's an interesting experience, I would say. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we definitely learned, another thing we learned very quickly was staying long-term versus short-term in location. So when we initially embarked on this journey, we really shot for like not even the stars, not even the moon. We shot for like an infinity and beyond. And when we were stuck in it, we were screwed. We were like, oh my God, this is never gonna work. So we planned a 2 months,
Europe.
2 to 3 months Europe back to back, 1 week in a different location for like almost 3 months. And by the end of the first month, we wanted to die and give up. But we couldn't cancel anything because everything was pre-booked. Everything was pre-done. So we were so exhausted. It was just so draining.
So picture this. When we travel, because we're digital nomads and we're always on the go, our home is our luggage. We have our laptops, all the clothes we own, all the accessories, all the gadgets, ring lights, microphones, everything comes with us. Yeah. So we don't travel light. We have to have at
power
least...
to all the backpackers out there. We are not those people. We are not able to do it. We just have too many things. And yeah.
So we
do have full-size luggages.
Yeah, two full-size luggages. 2 backpacks fully packed,
2 carry-ons.
So, and imagine this across
on ferries, from ferry to ferry, from hotel to hotel.
We did 5 islands in Greece.
We did 5 islands.
We did 3 or 4 cities in Spain.
Yeah, I would say the Greece one was the most exhausting because you're hopping on, hopping off boats, putting your luggage in different like compartments of the ferry. Like, oh, what a nightmare.
Yeah, even the ramps and everything, and just
little things you don't factor in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was intense. And after that 3 months, we wanted to just take a flight back to Canada and just give up
and cry.
But we ended up in Portugal, and we were in Portugal for a month and a half, I think. And we were able to relax a bit, and that really made all the difference in the world. We realized, like, yeah, this is much better. So now we have a rule minimum of 1 month in a spot.
Unless it's a vacation trip.
Unless it's a vacation.
So what we learned from that Euro trip at the beginning of our journey was really that there's a difference between travel living and then traveling for leisure, which also applies to traveling with our friends and family. When they join us on a trip like this during the summer, they're anticipating activities, food every day, restaurant every day, traveling for leisure to discover a city. And for us, it can't be the case all the time. So we can't always be traveling with people, because then we end up being super unproductive and not working at all. So it requires mental discipline. It requires boundaries. It requires daily habits. So many things that we didn't know we needed to develop in order to become functioning digital nomads. Yeah. And not overwork ourselves and burn out ourselves from traveling.
And another thing too is when you're in a place for a short period of time, it's so hard to develop a routine. So if you're in a place every single week, like how are you gonna join a gym and stay healthy? You know, you when you're in a new location, you want to try as much food in, well, as we do, you know, local food in different places. So if you're there for only a week, and you plan to work like three or 4 days and then you know, go out 3 days, it just doesn't happen. Like it just doesn't. You don't end up cooking at all. And that takes a toll on you completely. Like we definitely gained some weight, so much weight.
So much weight in the first couple of months.
Yeah,
we gained so much weight that first year. We were looking like little blimps. We were looking like
two little meatballs,
like two little meatballs traveling the world after that first year.
Yeah, but we ate well, and the food was delicious.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
I don't regret it. But then after, it starts affecting your productivity. It starts affecting your health, and it's just not sustainable. So even that, your health and the habits to move your body as a digital nomad, you don't really move at all for your job. You're not taking the bus or walking or taking transportation outside unless you force yourself to. So we're sitting down pretty much all day unless we tell ourselves, you know what, let's go to the gym. You know what, let's subscribe to a boxing class. And those are some things that we started to develop, especially I would say in the last year.
Yeah, since the beginning of the year. Yeah,
since the beginning of 2023, it's one of the things that we focused on the most and we've improved so much on.
Yeah.
It's our daily habits for our health. Cooking. Chantal has become my personal chef.
Unfortunately.
She cooks really healthy stuff. Not a lot of processed foods. We do get to enjoy the local cuisine wherever we are, because
we still eat there. We still eat, but we try to we try to limit ourselves and only eat on weekends, like out.
Yeah.
Especially depending wherever we are, we might have friends there now or whatnot. So we try to keep it as healthy as possible.
So
and and also there's other things that like a lot, like traveling, you don't realize the little things, like even just basic things like garbage pickup. Like in Canada, my whole entire life, like, you know, if I just wheel the garbage outside and somebody would pick it up right in front of my house. Or if I lived in a condo or an apartment, like there was a chute and I don't have to worry about it. Well, in places in Europe, the garbage trucks can't fit. So you have to literally lug your garbage to a random destination. It could be up a hill if you're in Lisbon, or down 3 streets away, 3 blocks, and you didn't realize this, and now you're carrying all this garbage. Like little minor things like that. I know that they're not big things. I mean, it's like first world problems.
Yeah.
But these little things like that are convenient for North American people, you don't really get them.
Some cities are more accessible than others. Some cities and countries have better infrastructures than others. Some have better Wi-Fi than others, better phone plans than others. Bonjour, hey, salut. And it all affects your productivity as a digital nomad, and you don't really realize it. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to go to this dream travel destination and work from the beach. And that's probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
So that's why.
And there might not even be like Wi-Fi at all on the beach, or even in your home.
And then you mess up because you can't relocate as soon as possible.
No,
and
you're stuck for a whole month in a foreign country with no Wi-Fi, and you're trying to hop on calls with clients, and the call keeps falling. Airbnb doesn't care for you. They don't give a shit. Like we've been through it all.
It can get pretty messy. And that's why we're making the series. So one of the episodes that we have planned actually during the series is going to be about that, the most overrated and underrated cities for nomad living. So cities that we've discovered have had great infrastructure to work from home, and have
some that are
lots of different varieties in the food that you can find, in the phone plans, and also some of the most overrated hard locations that we've hated that everyone recommends. So if you're curious about that topic, that's coming up as well in the upcoming weeks.
And we like to keep it real with you. Like, one of the biggest things when we started posting a lot on Instagram and we started becoming an influencer was I hate like I just hate how fake the industry is. Like when people get paid to say certain things, or the way people make certain places seem to people that maybe don't really travel as much. Like we absolutely hate that. Which was kind of a struggle for us, posting and stuff. So that's why, like, for us, we don't really do per se partnerships with people that we don't really align ourselves with. We, especially places where usually the places that would do collaborations are usually the places that we don't like because they're the most overrated places. But yeah, so stay tuned for that episode because it's going to be a good one.
Definitely. Another thing that we realized upon our journey as a digital nomad or beginner digital nomads was that working remotely, like we said a little bit before, can prove to be a little bit challenging. So if you're working from home, or if you're going to cafes, or if you prefer to work from what are they called, co-working spaces, they all come with different challenges. Finding the locations, comes with different challenges depending on the location where you're trying to work from.
Yeah, co-working spaces I find are rare to find decent ones.
You know what though? They aren't, but we're not really a big co-working
we don't
people.
really
We are hermits.
Well, it's not that. I get this. We're so distracted. Like if I went to a co-working place, like I would make friends, and next thing you know, we would be like at a Starbucks sipping like freaking frappuccinos.
It would be the equivalent of going to the library when you're a teenager. Nothing gets done. You're just chilling.
No, and I'm personally do not like cafes either. A lot of times the cafe, the Wi-Fi is crap. Or actually, in some places they don't even have Wi-Fi. Remember in the Philippines, they didn't have. In the Starbucks.
We were used to having at least Tim Hortons or Starbucks back in North America to be able to work from there because they all have free Wi-Fi in North America. And then when we were in the Philippines, we realized that Starbucks doesn't have free Wi-Fi everywhere. And in the Philippines,
absolutely
it didn't
nowhere.
have free Wi-Fi. Where else? In Malaysia, it didn't have free Wi-Fi. Basically, it's not the same all across the world in terms of Wi-Fi. And that is a huge, I guess, dependency. When you're working on the go like that, Wi-Fi is the one thing that you can mess around with. If a location that you dream of doesn't have good Wi-Fi, you're pretty much not going to be able to sustain being there and working from there. So you're going to have to just use it as a vacation destination.
Working remotely, another challenge is choosing the right Airbnb or wherever you end up staying, which typically has to be an Airbnb because you can't really stay long term in a hotel if you're planning on working from there. So that comes with its own challenge because sometimes there's not like a really comfortable spot to work from. We learned that very quickly at the beginning. We did a 2.5-month trip to Colombia, and my back was broken at the end of it.
The place was great.
The place was great, but
there was space. There wasn't
really an office space.
There was.
But
the chairs were
really crap.
Horrible.
So now we absolutely travel all the time with a laptop stand, so that we can elevate the laptop. We can actually stand and work if we want. We also make sure to bring ergonomic pillows with us. I know it's super extra, but makes the biggest difference. Like after a while, like I was like, oh my god, like
I remember after that trip, at the end of that trip, Chantal one time was trying to give me like a back massage with a roller, and the pain was so intense that it induced a panic attack. Yeah, do you remember in Cartagena? And I was crying on the bed, and I'm like, no, you need to stop. And then she kept going, and I'm like, stop, I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So painful. She had to go get those cups and also a cupping done and a sport deep tissue massage. Yeah. So you have to plan for your work setup. Even if you're going to cafes and whatnot, you have to plan what your chair is going to be like, your desk, specifically the stand makes all the difference, and the pillow, the back pillow, the butt cushion,
the lower back cushion for sure.
So one of the episodes actually that in the series is going to be exactly about that. We're going to be sharing with you all of the travel essentials that we have personally, whether it's for work, technology, or travel related. And we're going to be sure that we're going to be what am I even saying? We're going to be sharing that in the next couple of episodes as well.
Another challenge working remotely that a lot of people don't take into, or maybe they do, but they just don't realize how much it's going to affect. I know one of the number one digital nomad destinations is places in Asia, specifically Bali. And the time difference from Bali to like North America is so far that it was super challenging for us to manage client work because we would have to, there was a 12-hour difference from Eastern time to Southeast Asia time. And so we were meeting with clients at like midnight, and it would just mess up our whole schedule, and it just was not overall, just we didn't feel good about it.
No,
it was not an overall
great.
Healthy
we spent
situation.
most of the year there, actually. We spent most of our year in 2023.
Yeah, we spent about 6 months
in Southeast Asia.
7 months, yeah.
Because we truly thought, okay, this is the peak digital nomad destination. Like, we have to go and try it and give it our all. And so we tried even different countries, different cities, different Airbnbs. Really, what it boiled down to for us, it just didn't work out. So one of the things we're going to talk about in future episodes as well is why those destinations didn't end up working out for us, and why we would recommend some of them and why we wouldn't recommend some of them.
And definitely one of the main things was the time change, the time zone change. Difference.
It felt so lonely. Like,
it
even
did.
Talking to family and friends, we couldn't.
Yeah, by the time our families were waking up or we were going to sleep, like, it was just not a good vibe at all. Another question that we get a lot is, how do we balance work and travel and our relationship, which comes with some challenges. I mean, any entrepreneur knows that, being an entrepreneur or having your own business, like, that already comes with your challenges, with its challenges, regardless if you work with your spouse, which brings more challenges. And then also if you're digital nomad, brings additional challenges. So we had to kind of, overcome all three. But I think we managed. I think we do a pretty decent job. I mean, still, like, there's some rocky moments. I would say not so much relationship, business work relationship, but more so balancing work, I would say.
Yeah, I would say definitely the biggest one for us has been balancing work and life, not in terms of the relationship, but in terms of making the separation. Sometimes there's a full week where we don't do anything not work related and we don't even realize it, and then we end up being so exhausted just because we don't have an office, we don't have a boss to tell us the time is over, we don't have a clock to kind of check off. So it can be difficult sometimes, especially when we're just like trying to cram in a project launch or a project closing or something like that we would rather just get everything done as fast as possible, so to get out of it. And sometimes we forget, and then there's no boundary set, and it can get pretty messy. But I think we have a pretty good communication system there.
Yeah, I think that's number one.
When we see that we're getting irritated, one or the other, we always try to bring it up, and we're like, you know what? I'm overwhelmed. I need your help.
Yeah. Because
I can't think. And we help each other out in that way.
It's been good. Like, at the beginning too, it's like it was difficult because we got so caught up with work that we've like, not that we forgot about each other, but I mean, spending time away from working, because it's hard to like leave your job when your job can follow you everywhere because you own your own business and there's always something to do. So what we decided to do was take the weekends off. That was something that we really enforced this year. Go on dates, and sometimes just stay at home. I feel like that's also a big struggle when you're balancing work and balancing like traveling. Is if we work 5 days a week and you have, or 6 days a week sometimes, and you have 2 days off or 1 day off, like, if you're in a different location, you want to use those days to like go out and travel and see and explore. But that's also very exhausting. You don't know what you're going to expect. So, you work 5 days a week, and then on the weekend you're traveling, and then when are you going to relax and really take the time for yourself, for like self-care, So that's something too that we've also implemented is, really taking a self-care day at least twice a month.
And I
That really,
feel like
really
that those
helps.
self-care days become also part of our relationship days. Like we
Yeah,
do the self-care.
relaxing, watching
We
a TV show,
sometimes I do your hair, sometimes you paint my nails, and we take care of each other. We
some
watch
masks.
masks, we watch movies, we do some face what is it called, purifications, like all that good stuff. And just taking time to relax and take care of ourselves
And just
together
sleep. And just sleep.
and literally sleep.
Catch up on our sleep.
But yeah, so that's something too that we've been practicing a lot this year.
It was a struggle.
And it's been to force ourselves to incorporate it in our routine and into our daily good habits, beyond just like working out and eating healthy.
Yeah. Also, something we didn't touch on, which was a big struggle for us, was when we started posting on social media. We literally started posting because, well, Saja used to be a flight attendant, as she mentioned, and she was posting her little travels here and there, and she really, really liked posting. So when we started traveling, she just loved posting, so she continued posting, and we mainly did it just to share with family, like the experience. And then it kind of just grew into something that we weren't really expecting, and we got kind of overwhelmed with that. Waking up super early to go take nice pictures, buying new dresses for every different photo shoot. And it really became overwhelming, like on the influencer side, because
It
I know
almost became ridiculous.
it did become ridiculous. It didn't almost become.
No, yeah.
It became so overwhelming to the point where we're like, we didn't really even want to enjoy anymore. So that's also something that you really have to take into consideration if you're deciding to want to travel and kind of
Pursue the content creation career. There are certain boundaries to be set and to learn to set for yourself, and you have to differentiate like what's content creation for the page, what's business, reaching out to companies, trying to get partnerships and whatnot, and also what's a relaxed day, what's my travel leisure time that I want. Because if you don't separate the three, then you're going to end up hating travel, which I think is what happened that first year. I was like, I hate travel. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to go back home. I don't want to take another fucking picture.
Yeah.
And it
just became
good.
so overwhelming. It became like a job.
But we weren't even getting paid.
We weren't getting paid. It wasn't a job. Like, it wasn't even fun. So we no longer really do that anymore. We just go, we travel, we enjoy the location, and
we decided
we take some
instead
pictures, focus on our business.
Yeah, go full force on the business, take the separation, and just take back the pleasure in traveling, keeping the traveling part just for fun, and taking pictures, of course, to share our memories on Instagram and whatnot. But what pays the bills is our business, and that's what we focus on in our 9 to 5 at home.
And this is more just a hobby, just sharing our experience. We really enjoy. I think what we enjoy the most about this is being authentic and being like real with people, and that's what we like the most about it. So that's why we were super excited even to do the live stream. One of the questions we got was,
how do we afford to travel so much?
Yes.
And actually I thought that's really interesting. We get that a lot because people are like, oh my god, you're here, then you're there, like how do you even do it? But I think what happens is people think we're traveling in leisure mode because we post our stories and our pictures when we're out and about in the country, and because we want to share what's interesting about the destination. But what they don't realize is the 6 days previous to that, or the 10 days previous to that we were just working full-time from home without seeing even the city outside.
But it is a lot. We come from, like I said, I'm from Toronto, she's from Montreal. Living in Toronto is like crazy expensive. It's New York prices. It's crazy. So I was already accustomed to a really expensive lifestyle just based on my location. And essentially, instead of paying that to live in one place, I've actually been able to use that and sometimes less to live in different places. So the cost of living in Toronto, like I said, was super high. The rent, an average 1-bedroom apartment is about $2,500. Car insurance is about $500 a month. Between $250 to like $500, not including your car payments. So we were spending like about $4,000 a month minimum just on basic necessities, not including food. So we just basically transfer that. And, you know, in Europe, a flight from, like, right now we're in Poland, we're in near Krakow. A flight from we're going to be going to, we were in Vienna last week, this weekend. The flight was $60 round trip from Krakow to Vienna. In 2 weeks from now, we're going to be in Oslo. The flight again was like $50. Like, that's cheaper than, you know, driving to Niagara Falls, which is an hour and 20 minutes away. It's cheaper than gas, you know?
Yeah.
So really, that's really
The
you know,
key, I think.
and
It's just,
we have our business.
yeah, exactly. We have the business. We pay the bills by having that as like our 9 to 5, even though it's our own business. And then we replaced our bills, like airplanes and travel insurance for car insurance and expensive phone plans. And yeah, that's pretty much how we do that one. Honestly, we kind of messed up because we needed to screenshot all the questions from Instagram, but hopefully we will do better next time. We'll bring the question next time for the end for the Q&A, and we'll answer the questions that we got this week in the next week's Q&A. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's live, and if you want to know more about how to become a digital nomad, and you want some more travel stories, whether they're good positive stories or travel horror stories, which we have tons,
Yeah.
make sure you tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. EST. This is our series, our Digital Nomad Diary.
And you can follow us on Clapper, follow us on Instagram. We post a lot on our stories. We're going to be going to Oslo. We're going to be visiting the Christmas market, which is super exciting, and the Krakow Christmas market, which is amazing. We were there last year. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this and you enjoy our journey and our content.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone.